Okay, let's just dive right into it. Welcome to the Ultimate Revision Explainer, specifically designed to secure you that top grade 9 for J.B. Priestley's and Inspector Calls. Look, if you want to transform your literature essays from, just good to absolutely outstanding, you need to understand not just what happens in the play, but exactly why Priestley wrote it the way he did.
So, are you struggling to lock down those top marks? If you're wondering exactly what the examiners are dying to see when you write about the tragic fate of Eva Smith or the moral failings of the Burling family, you are in the exact right place. We're going to decode the core concepts that literally elevate a standard essay into a total masterclass response.
Real quick, before we start decoding Priestley's masterpiece, if this revision guide ends up saving your grade and helping you finally crack the code on these exam questions, please make sure to hit like and subscribe for more GCSE masterclasses. It seriously helps us keep bringing you the very best study strategies.
Right. Here is our exam success blueprint for today. We've got 1. Context, capitalism versus socialism. 2. Unpacking Eva Smith. 3. Inequality, class and gender. 4. Inspector Gould's warning. And finally, 5. Maximizing your exam marks. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Context, capitalism versus socialism.
Okay, to get those top marks, we first need to objectively unpack the political landscape J.B. Priestley uses as the very foundation of his play. You simply cannot write a grade 9 essay without discussing these two opposing ideologies. Priestley highlights a stark contrast between two very different systems. On one side, we have capitalism, where individuals control resources for profit, operating under that classic mindset that greed is good and rewarding people based on wealth. And on the totally opposing side is socialism, which focuses on equal ownership, rewarding your actual contribution, and providing a baseline of welfare for everyone. Priestley uses the entire play to explore the massive tension between these two worldviews. And as you'll see, we get these ideologies mapped directly onto the characters. The Burlings, well, they represent the prospering capitalists in 1912 Britain. They've got the wealth, the factories, the power. Meanwhile, the inspector acts as Priestley's mouthpiece to neutrally present socialist ideals to the audience. He's there pointing out the vast class divide and the very real human cost of the capital versus labor agitations going on at the time.
Section 2. Unpacking Eva Smith. Let's move over to our central character and see how she functions as the ultimate symbol in this landscape. What's truly fascinating about Eva is that we never actually find out her true identity. There's this brilliant ambiguity to her, which allows her to act as a universal symbol for the oppression experienced by the lower classes, and particularly women, back in early 20th century society. So she isn't just one person, right? She is a representation of an entire demographic.
It's actually amazing how Priestley constructs her very name to carry such profound meaning. Eva is a direct reference to Eve, the biblical mother of humanity, and it translates to source of living, which, if you think about it, makes her suicide deeply paradoxical and ironic. Then you have her surname, Smith. That was literally the most common working-class surname in Britain, originating from blacksmith. So the crucial takeaway here is that Priestley specifically constructed her name to represent all of working-class humanity. She is the source of living, whose fixed, completely inescapable class identity eventually drives her to just give up on existence. And this quote from the inspector perfectly captures her role as a generic, representative character. There are millions and millions of Eva Smiths and John Smiths. Her personal tragedy is the universal story of the everyday people of Britain. When you're writing your essays, you absolutely must mention that she is a construct. She's designed to make the audience reflect on their own responsibilities to the millions of everyday people around them.
Section 3. Inequality, class, and gender.
Let's examine how the text builds a literal case study of inequality through Eva's chronological destruction by the Burling family. It is a masterclass in showing how different levels of power can completely dismantle a vulnerable life. Her timeline of exploitation is just relentless. First, she gets fired by Mr. Burling simply for striking for fair wages. Then, she's dismissed from a shop, entirely due to Sheila's petty jealousy. Next, she's used as a mistress by Gerald, and later made pregnant by Eric, refusing his stolen money. And finally, when she has absolutely nowhere left to turn, she is coldly rejected by Mrs. Burling's charity committee. It's a tragic checklist. She's passed from person to person, treated merely as cheap labor or an object of pleasure by the patriarchal elite.
Which brings us to Priestley's ultimate point about gender inequality. The most profound symbol of her oppression is that Eva never actually appears on stage. She has absolutely no voice in the play. Her entire history is pieced together through the testimonies of the very people who exploited her. What an incredible structural choice. It emphasizes her total lack of autonomy. She is defined entirely by the people who used her and cast her aside.
Section 4. Inspector Ghoul's Warning.
Next up on our revision checklist, we have to look at the mysterious figure sent to judge the Burlings and deliver Priestley's core message. The inspector is such a fascinating construct. Even his name, Ghoul, spelled G-O-O-L-E, sounding like ghoul or spirit, hints at his supernatural, almost omniscient nature. He isn't your traditional police officer interested in legal guilt, not at all. Instead, his entire purpose is breaking down the family's class defenses to teach collective moral responsibility. He forces them to actually look at the human consequences of their actions.
For your quote bank, this is arguably the single most important line in the play. We don't live alone. We are members of one body. We are responsible for each other. This simple, sermon-like speech uses the biblical illusion of one body to demand community welfare and social responsibility. It's the direct, absolute opposite of Mr. Burling's individualistic, capitalist views from the very start of the play.
And immediately following that, we get this incredible line. Listen, examiners absolutely love it when you point out this ominous threat. If men will not learn that lesson, then they will be taught it in fire and blood and anguish. It acts as a dire warning of the consequences of extreme individualism. To the original 1946 audience, fire and blood and anguish very clearly foreshadowed the two world wars that occurred just after the play's 1912 setting, proving the inspector's warning tragically correct. Using direct, punchy imperatives, the inspector acts as a moral judge. He says, "Each of you helped to kill her. Remember that. Never forget it." He assigns an inescapable, collective guilt to the entire family structure. No one gets to walk away clean here. They are all complicit.
Section 5. Maximizing your exam marks.
Finally, let's translate all of this thematic analysis into the actionable strategies that will actually get you that grade 9 on your exam paper. Because knowing the story is step 1. Knowing exactly how to write about it is step 2. Your argument must always begin with a strong topic sentence. A high-level topic sentence doesn't just tell the examiner what happened in the plot, it explicitly references J.B. Priestley himself and his overarching ideas and intentions as a playwright.
Let me give you an example. Instead of just describing the plot by saying something basic like, Eva Smith gets fired, try structuring your essay with phrases like, Priestley portrays Eva Smith as a victim of the individualistic attitude of capitalist society. Do you see the difference there? You are analyzing Priestley as a construct creator rather than treating the characters like they're real people. That is a real game changer. So, here is your definitive grade 9 blueprint. Step 1. Formulate that topic sentence focusing on Priestley. Step 2. Make sure that sentence links directly back to the specific exam question you've been asked. And Step 3. Ensure you are pulling in wider concepts, like the 1912 patriarchal society or the conflict between capitalism and socialism, rather than just listing events from the play. By following these exact steps, you elevate your essay from a simple summary to sophisticated, top-tier literary analysis.
Keep these structural tips and core themes at the very front of your mind, and you are basically guaranteed to ace your literature exam. So, as we wrap up this masterclass explainer, I'll leave you with this one thought. Will you be the one to learn the inspector's lesson and apply these high-level concepts, or will you face the examiner's fire and anger? Best of luck with your revision. You've totally got this, and we'll see you in the next masterclass.